Hi, guys. Today we're going to be reading Proverbs 5, and I really love this chapter because it talks about one of the biggest distortions that we have in our generation, which obviously was prevalent in the days of Solomon, and that is lust versus love. And so, whenever we have something like lust enter into our heart, that's wickedness. So, this is what it says: My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lay hold to hell. Lest you ponder her path, her ways are unstable. You do not know them. Therefore, hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one, lest aliens be filled with your wealth, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. And you mourn at last, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and say, How I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who have instructed me. I was on the verge of total ruin in the midst of the assembly and congregation. So I want to stop there and just talk about what he's saying, right? He's talking about to his son, and he's talking about an immoral woman, but the same thing goes for daughters looking at immoral men who want nothing more than just to satisfy the lust of their flesh. And if lust is the driver, right, that's immorality, right? So when lust drives you, you lose yourself. You lose everything you have. He says, your wealth, your labors go to the house of a foreigner. I mean, just think about the state of the United States right now, right? Not we all, but as a society, many lust after greed, money, sex, and things that are not products or byproducts of the fruits of the Spirit. Drink water from your own cistern and running water from your own well, right? Stay in your lane. Should your fountains be dispersed abroad, streams of water in the streets, let them only be your own and not for strangers with you. Guard, is what he's saying. Guard that water of life that flows through you. And don't just give it away to strangers because it's sacred. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breasts satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. I think what he's saying there is don't creep around, right? Be satisfied with what you got, or with what you have, right? For why should you, my son, be enraptured by an immoral woman and be embraced in the arms of a seductress? These last three verses are the kickers. They really hit the nail on the head. For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. His own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. I'm going to read that last one again. He shall die for lack of instruction, and the greatness of his folly or his foolishness he shall go astray. The course of the Lord is one you turn around, and the way to life everlasting is straight and it's narrow. It's steep and it's a climb, right? that climb to the top of the mountain. But that's where we're headed. And if we get caught up in the cords of the flesh or those negative emotions or feelings that often drive behavior, not just lust, but anger, frustration, deceit, if those, or greed, right? If those are our drivers, we're going to get caught up in that. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve, I was going to say God and money because that's what Jesus says, but you can't serve these dark emotions and produce the fruits of the Spirit at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. So I love that instruction to stay in our lane, to drink from our own fountain. Don't go out there and covet what's not yours, right? Truly, everything is the Lord's. So everything that we have that is given to us of the Lord is given to us of the Lord. And so when we go outside of that and we try to take what we feel or what we are driven to try to take or seduced to take, it taints the water, right? And that's what he's saying is you have this beautiful water within you. And if you go chasing after immorality, that's a state of the heart, right? Because Christ, even he said it's not, adultery isn't just laying with another. If you think and lust after a woman, then he's talking to the guys, then you're already committing it. And he's not condemning us. He's simply illustrating that it's a heart condition. It's not enough to just, avoid certain things. If we constantly think about things, then those things will eventually manifest in our life. Whatever we hold on to in our mind holds on to us. So if we hold on to lust or greed or pride or any of those things, then eventually, that'll lead to our destruction. But as we strive to walk in the Spirit, like the Apostle Paul says, right, and have the fruits of the Spirit, love, peace, goodness, kindness, gentleness, self-control, faith, humility, meekness, and above all, charity. When we walk in those are our drivers and our fruits, we reap a harvest that is just beautiful. I love you guys, and I testify to you that the Lord loves you. And if you're struggling with something, just try harder to do better. Give it to the Lord, and watch what happens. Right? Watch how He changes you from this state of confusion or misdirection to knowing that your course is acceptable before Him, knowing that you're on the path that He would have you do. And you won't, I don't know. It's been my experience that I don't hear that kind of instruction and receive that kind of guidance when I'm stuck in these things like pride or lust or greed or anything like that. So I've chosen to do my best every day to let it go. Instead of focusing on those things, I focus on what can I do to bring joy to the day, or what can I do to be more loving? And that mindset helps me to avoid those entanglements with those emotions that Satan has placed here on this earth to influence us through his, strategies and wiles. We overcome those things. We overcome those things, and we take the Savior by the hand, because his hands are outstretched, reaching out for us. And we just reach up and we grab him. We just walk with him. And I testify to you that as you strive, do your best, just give an effort, that's enough. He will bless you. I love you guys. Peace be with you all.